Hey folks, today's episode is brought to you by CarParts.com. CarParts.com is the smarter way to shop for auto parts. Their fast, mobile-friendly experience makes it easy to shop for the parts you need when you need them. Just enter the year, make, and model of your vehicle, start shopping, and start saving. It's that simple.
Yeah, it was really easy. I needed a couple of things for my car, power steering lines, cup holder, quite the spectrum in terms of parts. And I was able to use their parts finder, find the things that fit my car. They went on really easily. The fitment was perfect. They looked really good, and they ship out really, really quickly.
All right. CarParts.com stocks their own inventory, cutting out the middleman and passing the savings on to you. Whether you've been in a collision, whether you're working on your project car, or whether you just need to catch up on maintenance, visit CarParts.com/thesmokingtire for 10% off $100 or more on select brands. That's CarParts.com/thesmokingtire for 10% off $100 or more on select brands. Get the right parts right now at CarParts.com/thesmokingtire. We're also brought to you today by Blackvue and their all-new DR900X Plus Series dash cams. You've heard us talk about the 750 series. Now we're on to the 900X Plus Series. These Blackvue dash cams are very high quality, and they give me the reassurance that my car is always protected, whether I'm driving or parked. With the Blackvue DR900X Plus models, new and improved 4K ultra-high resolution front camera and newer Sony Starvis sensor in the rear camera, you can be sure that you will capture all the important details around your car, both during the day and at night. As a screenless, compact camera that hides behind your rearview mirror, the Blackvue is managed from the Blackvue mobile app. With Blackvue seamless pairing, connecting with the app is a breeze. No need to enter pesky passwords anymore. Just wave your hand near the camera to confirm it's you, and the app will let you browse recorded videos, change settings, or connect your dash cam to the cloud effortlessly. When you're away from your car, we've got built-in voltage monitoring, so you can leave your car protected by Blackvue's parking mode without fear of draining your car's battery. And thanks to the optional LTE connectivity module, the Blackvue DR900X Plus Series dashcam keeps you always connected to your car from anywhere. This means you can receive impact notifications on your phone, check on your car with a remote live view feed, and rest easy knowing that the live event upload saves impact footage in real time to the cloud, including the all-important 5-second pre-impact buffer. The new mobile hotspot function allows you to turn your LTE-connected dashcam into a Wi-Fi hotspot for up to 5 devices. And the DR900X Plus Series model comes with an optional rear camera, which you can get now or add later on. So go to blackvue.com, that's BLACKVUE, blackvue.com/TST, and use promo code TIRE to get 10% off any Blackvue dashcam. That's Blackvue, BLACKVUE.com/TST, and use promo code TIRE to get 10% off any Blackvue dashcam and free shipping for orders over $200. We're also brought to you today by Valvoline, the original motor oil. Rather than reading about the dual defense additive technology, I'll just tell you about the NASCAR race we attended at the LA Coliseum yesterday, thanks to our friends at Valvoline, getting to show us what their motor oils do in the context of racing. And Valvoline sponsored 3 cars in that races, all of which finished in the top 10. 2 of them finished in the top 5. Kyle Larson finished in the top 5, and William Byron finished in the top 5 at the LA Coliseum. And man, that was some really, really cool racing. We got to go behind the scenes with the engineers who analyzed the oil, with some of the racing drivers, and see some really excellent racing at the LA Coliseum right in our backyard, up close. Valvoline is the only motor oil with a dedicated engine lab where they can run specialized engine tests and standardized engine tests right in their own facility. I met the guy who's in charge of testing all of the oil. They test after every dyno, they test after every practice session, they test after qualifying, and they test it after the race. And they've run over 5,000 oil sample tests in the last 2 years, and they're able to accurately, they have a predictive model of the life of their racing engines based on the results of those oil tests. It's very, very cool. Valvoline is proud to be the official motor oil of Hendrick Motorsports, who we attended the race with yesterday. And Kyle Larson was crowned the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion with 9 wins and 2,000 laps led. Go to your local auto parts store, ask for Valvoline full synthetic extended protection by name. And thank you to Valvoline for sponsoring today's show and for bringing us to the Clash at the Coliseum yesterday. It was super, super fun. Last but certainly not least, we are sponsored by Squarespace. Whether you are making a new website for yourself, for your business, for your family, for your connected social media accounts, to sell something on e-commerce, Squarespace has you covered. They are the easiest, most efficient, all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business, promote yourself, show your resume, your portfolio, whatever it is. The Smoking Tire website, that runs on Squarespace. My West Side Collector Car Storage business website, that runs on Squarespace. And I was able to make both of those websites myself, and I am stupid. I know a few things about cars, and I know nothing about web design, but the tools within Squarespace really allow me to make this website easily and very efficiently. Whether if you want to run e-commerce, no problem. They've got a module for that. If you want to do comedy or entertainment podcasting, they've got modules for that. You want to embed videos? They've got modules for that. You want to have 4 or 5 different people contributing to a blog? No problem. They can do that. You want analytics and stats? Boom! Built into Squarespace. You don't need to know how to code. You don't need to know what all those weird HTML stuff means. All you have to do is put little content blocks on the page where you want them. It's as easy as drag and drop and typing in words. It's very, very straightforward.
Pop quiz, which direction does the slash go, Matt?
/
Doesn't matter with Squarespace.
That I know. Squarespace is easy. It's very straightforward, and you have no excuse for not having the right website for your business when Squarespace is out there. So check out squarespace.com/tire for 10% off your purchase of a website or domain. Oh yeah, did I mention that you can buy your website or domain through Squarespace? So you used to have to go to a domain purchasing place and then go somewhere like Squarespace to make the website itself. Now you can do it all in one. So check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and then when you're ready to get going, go to squarespace.com/tire to save 10% off your purchase of a website or domain with Squarespace. All right, today's show features my good friend, Mr. Tom Segura, world famous stand-up comedian. He is on the most ridiculous tour ever. It's like hundreds and hundreds of dates. We saw him like a couple months ago in Seattle, and he is still going. Literally, he is coming everywhere. He's coming all over the place. It's extraordinary. You can follow him at Tom Segura on Instagram. Find his tour dates, tomsegura.com. We talk about all kinds of fun things, cars, comedy, and the idea that Two Bears Racing is coming everywhere. And I'm trying to work my way into getting a seat on that race team. I think I can do it. I think I could be a racing consigliere for Tom Segura. All right, it's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Tom Segura in the house.
Matt Farah.
Hola, sir.
Hola, thanks for having me.
Thank you for giving us an hour.
Of course.
Whoa.
Oh,
mute the TV. You're busy as fuck, man. You're coming everywhere.
I'm coming everywhere.
Fucking, you are touring like a motherfucker.
I know. I actually Canada just got moved because of they have their mandates.
Right.
So we can't do the shows, which was going to be.
Did you think you were going to be able to do the shows?
Well, I mean, it's been booked for. I'm saying, and they changed their. It would look like it was going to happen, and then in like mid-November, they changed them. Like they went back, and then they were like, "Well, you just have to wait and see."
And
then they were like, "No, you can't do the shows." I mean, they had a 500-person cap.
Can you set up a stage on the American side of the border
That seems
and
reasonable.
fucking have some Canadians gather on the other side?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever done that? Has anyone ever
don't
done
know
a
if-
show over a border?
Over a border? I don't know, man.
How would that tax law
You
work?
can have that for free. I just want 2 passes.
Okay, you got passes. You got passes. I feel like customs would be real dicks about it, though.
They might, but like they'd be way chiller about it on the north than on the Mexico side.
The only dicks I've ever met in customs, because Canadian people are like very well known to be super friendly, which they are.
Yeah.
Man, I have had 3 asshole encounters.
Oh,
and
really?
they're all Canadian.
At Canadian customs?
Always.
Oh,
yeah.
it's so funny.
It's just like I think they probably see so much rudeness that you develop like a.
Yeah, they probably deal with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And like Zach and I, we made a little film once where we drove these shit boxes across the state of Washington. And at the end of the film, we were to cross the Canadian border. That's how we wrote it. We would go into Canada, and that would be the finish line. And when we got to Canada, the car was like so terrible.
Yeah.
We didn't cross it like a major place. We crossed, I think it was called like the Nighthawk border. It was a fucking shed.
And you just left
It
it
was
there?
like field, shed. But the guy, he was okay.
Yeah.
He really side-eyed us because he was like,
To paint the picture, it was a Tercel with the exhaust strapped to the roof.
Yeah, it was
We
bad.
couldn't turn the
It was
windshield
bad.
wipers off or the car.
They're like, this is druggies. These are
Right.
American druggies.
well, it was, and then he allowed us to cross the border, but he made us promise. He gave us 1 hour. He was like, I better see this car going back across this border in 1 hour,
yeah.
or we are sending people fucking after you.
Okay.
Because I
And
think
you're
they
like,
thought we
all
were
right.
going to ditch the car in Canada
Sure.
or something, which I'm sure people do.
Which I'm sure you wanted to do.
Which we would have done if we weren't threatened. It's not like we've never ditched a car before. Come on.
No, of course.
Yeah, but he just one dude in a shed in the middle of nowhere. Even he was kind of like pretty sketched out about what we were doing.
I remember a customs agent was like, "Where are you working?" And I was like, "This comedy club." And they're like, "Do they serve food and drinks there?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
It's a comedy club.
it's a comedy club." And then she was like, "Oh, so you're actually going to be an employee of a comedy club?" And I was like, "What? I'm hired to work the shows."
Do you know how entertainment works?
And she was like, "You don't have a work visa." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not how this works." And she's like,
Is it though?
She was
or
like,
is
"Yeah."
it not? Is it not how it works?
No, not for. I mean, I've worked there over 10 years. No one's ever said that.
Oh,
You
I didn't
just
know
go
if if you're an international touring act, if you have to get a work visa.
I mean,
for
certain
those kind of-
countries, I guess, have different rules for that. But like having worked Canada dozens of times, I'm like, that's not a thing here. And I'm telling her that, and she was like, "No, you need it." And I'm like, "Okay, so how do I get it?" She goes, "Well, you can apply for one right now." I go, "Right here?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "You
Yes,
can
it's
pay for it
$1,000,
here." Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, she's like, "It's either that or you get on the next flight back." And I was like, "Okay, I would like a work visa."
That's
so
fucking
I had to buy one there.
That's like going to the DMV and you're literally at the mercy of the person at the
That's
desk
exactly what
right
it is.
there.
That's exactly what it is.
I had a when I went to register that M3.
Yeah.
The person who does my VIN checking, who comes normally you have to go to the DMV and sit in fucking line to have your VIN checked. Well, there's a service. They come here to do it for the collector cars, and we've had him use this dude a million times because cars have been shipped here and blah blah blah. And there was a box that wasn't checked. It should have been checked. It wasn't checked. Okay, this lady at the DMV wouldn't let me just check the box right there. She goes, no, we're and she fucking crossed it out. She goes, now you can't check it. And I was like, but but it's not like it was. It's not like it had to be taken away. It was an ad.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
add in.
And she made me do the whole thing over.
Jesus.
And I was like, someone in a good mood would have just been like, yeah, just
Yeah, of
check
course.
the fucking box.
And by the way, this is how I know a time or two later when I went back to Canada, a different customs agent was like, "Why do you have a work visa on your passport?" And I go, "Because they made me." He goes, "Nobody would make you do that here." And I'm like, "Okay."
Only the shittiest agent ever would make you do.
She's in Winnipeg.
Oh my god. So I've been listening to Two Bears One Cave, which I fucking love. It's hilarious.
Thanks, man.
Your sanity and Bert's insanity.
It's a good mix.
Works very well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bert he's really out of his fucking mind.
He's a crazy person.
Yeah.
That thing I just told you about, by the way,
Yeah.
it's the two of us.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be crisis management over there.
Yeah.
I'm sure. What you guys will know what we're talking about in a few months. But we're happy for Tom.
Yeah. Good.
But a couple episodes ago, someone says that you need to start a fucking racing team.
Yes.
And I was like, well, we need to have Tom back on immediately
And we have
before
been
Bert ruins this.
Hit up so much about this.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you been hit up by reasonable people?
Yeah, a
Okay.
couple. One well-known. I don't want to say it yet, I guess, because I don't know if I should. But one well-known car modifier company was like, "We have a racing team, and we can get you into like a low-level race." We've had professional drivers contact us. Some automotive, just like industry types.
People, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people.
Well, because Bert was talking about, he obviously doesn't know a fucking thing about racing.
Oh, really?
So
he's like, you could take over F1, Tom. And I'm like, I think those guys started younger. He's like, no.
Yeah,
He's like, you love to drive.
You know what's funny? In
love
F1,
the
though, they
optimism.
have like gentleman drivers.
No.
Like there's people who pay to race in Formula One.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like the guy's father is the owner of the company sponsoring the car, and they fucking pay, and he's good enough to get a license. Like, you don't need to be good at driving a Formula One car to get the license to drive in Formula One. You need an FIA super license, which basically means you just have to get around a track without crashing.
Okay.
Pretty much.
In a couple of different classes, I think.
In a couple of different classes.
You got to level up.
You need a little bit of, you need some racing experience
You do
for
need some
sure.
skill set, yeah.
But you don't need McLaren to go, Tom,
Yeah.
in order to get in Formula One. That doesn't need to
I hope
happen.
McLaren does that.
But there's a bunch of different racing like series. Like, there's different
Yeah.
ways to go racing. And I think you guys should do one of like the somewhat affordable endurance racing series.
I think it would be fun to try something like that.
Yeah, because you have multiple drivers. It's a
Yep.
team sport. Bert wants to be fucking crew chief
He
or something.
definitely does not want to drive. He wants to be in the pit.
Yeah, and and the endurance races, they have pit stops where
Yeah.
you do fuel and you do tire checks and stuff like that.
I guess he just wants to be like, change those tires.
Yeah, he wants to be fucking Harry on the radio
yeah.
from Days of Thunder,
Right.
eating ice cream.
Come on,
cones.
God damn it. Push it, Tom. That's what he
But
wants.
Champ Car is the one I think you guys should do. Where
Oh, cool.
the cars are cheap-ish,
Okay.
but they look like legit race cars. Like they're not like silly themed
Yeah.
shopping cart on the roof kind
Champ
of thing.
Car is its own, like,
It's a series,
okay.
and they have races all over. And typically on a weekend, they'll have at a given track, they'll show up at whatever fucking track, and there's all different classes of cars, right? So it goes 1 to 5. So 1 is like the slowest car, and 5 is the fastest car. So 1 would be like a 1991 Miata,
Okay.
or like a E30 BMW, like 4-cylinder, like slow old cars, right? Class 5 might be like a Boxster or a Corvette or E46 M3.
Yeah.
And they're racing in the same time, same track, one race, different classes. So there's like 80 cars on the track, but you're really only racing like 15 or 20 of them depending on what class you're in.
Interesting.
So I've done it in class 3, which was a 2013 Miata. Still like not super fast, but a little more competitive.
Fun race?
Really fun. Really fun. And as you can see in the photos, some of the cars look a little more janky, and some of the cars are a little nicer.
So wait, I got to ask
You
you
have
this.
opportunities.
Bert is going to buy me a birthday present.
You should buy you a race car.
He's going to buy me a race car. So
God, one day I want to be this rich. This is what birthday presents are.
what should he buy me? Like, give him the idea.
For one of these kind of series,
Yeah.
like endurance racing series, like a really versatile car that you could enter in like multiple series.
Cap it at 100.
$1,000?
Yeah.
$100,000?
Yeah.
Don't spend $100,000.
Dude, it's for me.
Don't
He's
spend.
got a point. He's got a point, Matt. It's for him.
You should. The most fun you could probably have at a somewhat entry level race car would be I think a spec E46. So E46 BMW, not an M3, like a 330, like a 2003 to 2005 330 coupe.
Okay.
There's a company that I love called Turner Motorsports. They're out of Massachusetts, and they build these cars.
Okay.
You just send them the car, or even have them find you one.
And then they modify it for...
They modify the suspension, they do roll cage, and spec means it's done to a specific set of regulations.
I'm going to send this clip to Bert. So
Yeah.
So he's gonna get the E46.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do a coupe or a sedan. Doesn't matter actually.
Okay, and send it to Turner.
Yeah, and my friend Will Turner runs this company. They win like lots of fucking races.
Will, you're going to be hearing from Bert Kreischer very soon.
Please help him.
Like they compete. Will Turner's got a cool story that he started the company from zero because he liked racing, and then he started putting people that were better drivers than him in the seats. But they win Continental Tire Series endurance challenges. They go to Daytona. I mean, he really built it up to being a really
they build
company.
real race cars.
And what's good about the car he's talking about is you have enough power where, like, coming out of corners, you're going to feel like you're moving, but the grip levels are so insane. You have to focus on momentum as well, but not to the point where it's a Miata where, like, if you don't start squeezing the throttle at the perfect moment, you are going 12 miles an hour down the straightaway.
Sure.
So I feel like you'll feel like you're going fast, but it's a good entry.
And for someone of our size,
Yeah,
Miatas aren't ideal.
they're not the best.
They are fun.
They're great to drive.
They're fun,
yeah.
but they're fucking tight.
They're tight.
This car would be like, if you're doing a 90-minute stint, like you'll be physically comfortable.
And this is also, is this like a car that once it's modified, it's not street legal, or is it?
You could have it be street legal, but it's really sketchy to drive a car with a roll cage on the street.
Okay.
Because if you're not wearing a helmet, if you get into like a really small accident and you hit your head on the cage, you just
cool.
die.
Yeah.
Like you could die at a 10-mile-an-hour crash.
Really?
So
Okay.
you could have it be streetable. That's an E46 spec E46 right there. It says BTM on. Oh, that's all of them. Sorry, he's got the whole website. So this is what the cars look like. You could paint it or fucking wrap it in something that looked really hilarious.
yeah.
But like that's the car.
That's, you know what? That's what he's going to do, is that he's going to do this and have the wrap be completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I would do a throwback to Tom Green's Slutmobile.
Something like
That's
that.
what, that's what I would do. There might be a rap that is so egregious they might not let you race.
Yeah.
Like if it's too disgusting, they might be like, "Listen,
What's up with all these tits, man?
There's
You can't have
fucking
this on the
kids
car."
here. Like we can't race.
You got
this.
tits on the doors, on that hood.
But I've driven one of them, and they're fun as a motherfucker.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, really, really good.
Sold.
Fun. And you probably could build it for under 40. Really.
Really?
Yeah, the car would be like 12 to 15. We get you like a great car.
Okay.
And then it's just like cage. You're not adding a lot.
Okay.
You're taking it. You take out most of the interior.
Yep.
You put in the cage and the seats, the harnesses,
Brake,
safety.
suspension, fire suppression.
Yeah, it's not. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. $100,000 would get you way too much car. You
And
don't
then
want that much
spend
car.
60 on racing
And then
tires,
spend 60 on-
consumables,
yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now if you've got this money left over, you better get a second set of wheels
Yep.
for your tires so you can swap them out quick.
Yep.
And then just get all the you want a trailer.
Yeah.
Now you need a truck and a trailer.
That's what it is, Bert. I need
A
this
whole rig.
and the trailer. That's
Yeah.
what you're going to spend on.
Yeah.
So we can tow it around.
Yeah.
How are we going to win fucking Two Bears racing events without the trailer?
Dude, and it's a team sport. You're going to need Matt Farah to be a driver on your team.
Of course.
100%.
Yeah.
3 Bears.
Yeah, Three Bears.
I mean, I already have the look.
You fit
do.
the description. You absolutely do.
the description of the drivers.
They'll just be like, oh,
And I know a guy.
Tom's wearing a hat.
I know a guy who will make you a racing suit.
Yeah.
A Nomex legal certified suit
Okay.
with literally anything on it you want.
Okay.
Full custom.
I love that.
I asked this guy, I was like, so will you put fucking kittens all over my shit? And he goes, yeah. Oh yeah.
Whatever you want.
Lee Keen did that. He got a bunch of words, but he misspelled one. And he shows up, and he's got his new suit, and we're like, hey, Lee, how do you spell alley? And he went, what do you mean? And then we looked down, and he had misspelled the word alley, and it's 50 times printed across the suit.
That is fun. It's only like that's only second best to the tattoos, you know, like sucky tattoos on Instagram is so fucking fantastic.
Oh my God.
They have like all the mistakes, like just and the shittiest drawings, and you're like, who did this to you?
Dude, my first tattoo, which is right here on my fucking thigh, when I was 17, it's an Ankh. You know, the cross with the loop on top. It looks like a monk like this. I was 17.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. But then it has the name of my sailboat. I had a little sailboat I used to race. That's how fucking white I am.
Yeah.
I had the name of the sailboat put in the Ankh. But the homie didn't space the lettering out quite right.
Nice.
So he got to the end of the name of the sailboat, and there's still a gap. So he just put a little star there, like like it's asterisks.
It's like, that works.
And I was done. I was like, what's
Was this
the
in
star?
a shop or just like a guy?
And like St. Mark's, like on the village, like just some shanty like place.
That's hilarious.
That probably got shut down for fucking giving people Hep C or something.
Yeah, for sure. I never got one. I never got a tat.
You know, none?
None.
You can't just have one. If you get one, you end up with like 12.
The thing is, what I find like aesthetically appealing is something that doesn't feel at least currently, authentic to me, which is like I like the way sleeves look.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not that guy.
You got to. I mean, that's also you're talking like 25 hours of tattooing.
Yeah,
to go
I mean,
full sleeve.
I think I would. The time commitment is not the issue as much as I would be like I'd have it and be like, I mean, I don't really feel like this is me.
That's more important.
Yeah. Like I think they look cool as shit though.
Yeah, you don't really seem like a full sleeve dude either.
Yeah.
You're all right.
I guess I'll just stay tattooless.
Just you're committed. You've gone this far.
Yeah.
You know,
This is
you should probably get like one a little just to see what it's like. You have the experience of getting one.
Get like a clear one as a practice just to see how it feels.
Yeah, get some get glow in the dark. They have like ones you can't see until you put a fucking black light on that.
I'll just get a random woman's name, and so that my wife's like, "Who the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "You didn't see this?
You don't listen. I told you the story
the whole time."
She's like, "You've not had them." Yeah, I did. Stephanie.
Speaking of which, my wife demanded to know: have we been your favorite guests on tour?
Hands down.
And also, do you miss her?
Hannah
She was. Hannah was like, I need to know if he misses me.
I was just telling somebody how much I love the way that because for work, she logs kind of like she likes to collect data.
Yeah.
And I find those types of conversations fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, it's like reading like a book about, you know, like sociology book or something. And that she keeps meticulous notes on people.
Her entry in her phone for you is hysterical.
She showed me before she left. We could leave it at that.
The notes she took on Tom are really funny.
But I loved it. And I was like, you know, once you see that, you're like, I should do that. And of course you don't.
But it makes so much sense.
So she keeps meticulous notes on people like in her life. And then it's great because, you know, especially if you meet a lot of people, you're like, oh yeah, what is Matt like again?
Yeah.
Or, you know, and then you have like, even if it's something like Matt loves turkey sandwiches, and it's been 6 months, you're like, I'll pick up lunch. You're like, oh, I'll pick up turkey sandwiches.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, oh, sweet.
She also makes her the best gift giver you've ever met
For
in
sure.
your fucking life.
That's exactly what I said.
Every gift she gives you is like perfect to you.
Yeah.
Great wife.
Great
Good
wife.
Quality
man.
wife.
Good quality wife.
We had so much fun in Seattle. That was such a nice trip. Thank you so much for doing that.
No, that was a blast.
And the shows were fucking great too. I really enjoyed the backstage experience.
It's
and hanging
different,
out with
right?
Jeff Tate.
Yeah.
Jeff Tate. That is someone who does not dress like he thinks.
No. That
is a weird dichotomy. He's like, he dresses like a fucking Cletus, your racist uncle.
Yeah.
And is basically a socialist. And it's
is,
very interesting.
And he's so bright. Like he's such a smart dude.
It was so interesting.
And then he'll show up. He showed up at one of these weekends, and his hair was like combed back, and he had like a pea coat with the collar up. And I was like, "Are you coming from a fucking Cuccinelli? Where the fuck? What's up?" And he was like, "Oh," I go, "You look amazing." Yeah. And then the next time I saw him, he was like homeless Jeff again.
Yeah.
I was like, "What are you doing?"
So interesting.
Yeah. But he's so funny. He's one of the best comics I know. People.
His set was excellent.
Yeah. Crushed.
Does he do a version of that set on the circuit? Or is he always evolving that?
He's one of the so I call up like 4 or 5 people to come on the road. I would say that without a doubt, consistently, he has the most new sets.
Oh, really?
Like I won't see him for a few months, and he comes out and it's always like a new set. And it's like impressive.
That's awesome.
Always like high level too.
Yeah, if Jeff's coming to your town, go see him. He's
great guy. He tours a lot.
Fucking funny, man.
Funny
He's
dude.
great. I did not, when I first met him and I saw him walk out on stage, I did not expect his comedy to be what it was.
Yeah.
And then when I hung out with him backstage, I was like, wow, you're a fucking socialist. We're friends now. This is great.
Yeah. He really is.
Yeah. Last time you were here, you hadn't gotten your Ricky D Cayman GT 4.5 yet from Mr. Demand. We discussed it. And I did mention on the show because when you got it, you texted me and just the word like "fuck" or something.
You know what it is, man?
It's pretty awesome, right?
It really is. And here's the way that I would describe it for people. I think people who love cars, right? Just enthusiasts who are always like looking at cars, wanting to talk about cars. If you go, do you want to drive this? Yes, like that.
Yeah.
That whole type of person that is just excited about cars. You're basically always going like, you know, this is great, but I wonder what's better. Like, I wonder if I got into something else, if that would give me the feeling of, oh my God, this is amazing.
Like the first heroin hit.
You're chasing the dragon, right? And like, you're all and I've driven a fair amount, like a pretty wide spectrum of cars, and
I made cars appear at your house.
You've made cars appear at my house, and I've had friends that have great cars, and I've driven a lot of them, and they you take things from each one that you're like, oh, from the aesthetics, like the way this thing looks, the performance, the handling, all of it. That Deman GT4 is like the best mix of everything that I've ever driven. Where like every time I start that car, and I'm driving, and especially you're out on the highway, and it's open road.
Yeah.
And you shift, and you take, or you're through.
Because yours has the gears too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the game changer.
Some windy road or something, and I'm on it. I honestly go, I don't think it gets any better than this. Like overwhelmed with, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, why would
when I drove it, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I go, because
it pretty much ends right here.
It ends right there. I actually feel like it has changed what I'm looking for in other cars. Because I go, well, what I thought I was looking for, I've found.
Yeah.
So now with other cars, I'm no longer looking for this. Like now I'm looking for like, I want like the perfect comfortable car. You know what I mean? Like this has filled a gap where I'm like, I don't even want to fuck with this.
That makes a lot of sense because we drive sports cars and we go, I wish it was a little more engaging here or there, or it's a little bit too insulated. But you've ticked all the boxes in that category.
It's amazing, man.
That's like it's the fizziest modern car that you can have.
Yeah, and it is also, you would understand this. You really can't explain it to somebody who you go like, no, it's like, believe me. I actually go like, you should drive this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should drive this.
I haven't actually said on the show yet, but I have one coming. That's the first time I've actually said it on the show. I've been kind of teasing that I have something coming.
Yeah.
But mine is a Spider.
Yeah.
Mine isn't going to be a convertible.
That's rad.
But he sent me the dyno sheet. Zach just had it pulled up. They just finished the newest tune on the 4.0 is 565 horsepower and 438 pounds of torque.
I'm telling you, man.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah. Mine's going to have comfort seats, though. Air-conditioned comfort seats.
Did you get the exhaust, too?
It's not the craziest one.
No, but you got the one that I got.
I got the one you have.
That exhaust
the no drone.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And it is a step. It's pretty rad.
It's rowdy, but it's not. But it's like bearable when you close the thing. Yeah.
It's good, dude.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Have you taken your car to the track yet?
Yes, I drove that car at COTA.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was it at COTA?
It's a fun, but it's like, it definitely took me a few laps to get used to it. Like he was like, "You want to bring something with less power?" But it was amazing. It's a thrill.
Yeah, and in a combination of the power and then the short gears making a noise. Did you drive? Did you send him a brand new car? Did you drove your car for a while?
I drove it
first?
for a couple months.
Yeah. So how big of a difference did you find the gears to be as
dramatic?
Well? Yeah,
dramatic. I mean, I don't know. You didn't have to shift at a second till like you were like 82 or something.
Yeah.
Like it was strange.
Yeah, second goes from 83 red line to 67. And then third goes from 114 to like 96.
The gearing is, I mean, obviously the power makes the tuning and everything.
Yeah.
But the gearing being shortened is huge difference.
It makes it way more fun.
It's a way more engaging drive, right? And everything, it's like the feel, and like, I don't want to shit on the other car, but like I've told you, like I got that M2 competition, which is a thrill to drive too.
And it's modified also.
It's heavily modified, yeah. But like when you go back and forth in them, you just don't want to get out of that GT4.
I'm going to put so many fucking miles on mine. I'm so excited.
It's all I drive when I get home.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, unless like,
because you have good roads in that part around the outside of Austin where you're at. You're on the nice road, right?
There's some windy roads.
Yeah.
And, there's some good stuff there. Yeah, but I mean, it's cool.
It's fucking rowdy.
My mom came out and I was like, "You want to go for a ride in this?" And she's like, "Is it going to be fast and crazy?" And I go, "Yeah." She was like, "No."
When I went to visit to Rick with my dad, I took my dad down there. We were in the area. And my car arrives in New Jersey in 3 weeks. It goes straight to Rick, 4 or 5 weeks there, and then Larry Casilla does his thing, the wrap, the detail, and then it comes to me. But Rick was like, I was in New York, and Rick's like, you in town? Come down. I just finished the Spider. You got to drive it. So I brought my dad down, and I took him for a rip, and my dad was like, you're out of your fucking mind buying something like this. He's
Really?
like, this thing is insane. He tapped out in 3 seconds.
Really?
In 3 years, he was like, you're fucking nuts. Please don't die.
Do you still have the Ferrari, the black?
Yeah, it was right down there.
I didn't see it.
It was on the rack above that M240 thing.
How do you like that?
I mean, it's cool. It's it's slow, but
Yeah.
it's slow, but it's fizzy.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
it makes good noises and it feels cool at low speeds. It's
Yeah.
it's a good thing to have.
Yeah,
it's a,
yeah.
it's a cool little. It makes me feel like it's a poster car kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't serve the need
Yeah.
that a 560 horsepower Boxster will.
Yeah.
but
But it's pretty cool.
But that's not what the old stuff is for.
No.
Yeah.
It feels something else though.
Yeah. Are you going to get something old?
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking for, doing kind of eyeballing to do a couple resto mods.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see.
Because you want old, but not old.
Yeah.
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 Do you want to build them from scratch and like have control of the whole process, or do you want to find a resto mod that's done?
No, I'm doing the two that I was looking into would both be from the beginning. Yeah.
Cool.
So because I mean, I'm not in a like rush to get them.
Mm-hmm.
I just been like, I'd rather have more custom choices.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But do you have time to drive any of this shit?
I don't think so. I mean, when you look at the miles of my cars, you're like, do you like cars?
Yeah.
But I'm not home. But
Yeah.
I mean, when I am home, it is like one of the most, fun things to do.
Yeah.
Like I like going for drives.
Are you gonna when is this tour done? Is it just indefinite?
Well, officially April of 23.
Oh fucking hell! Really?
Yeah, it's not even. We haven't announced the next. 2
Jesus
legs.
Christ! Look how many dates that is. Oh my God! How many dates is that?
That's only. We haven't even announced the next legs. But yeah,
And look how many are sold out.
yeah, it's pretty
Good
wild.
for you. Good for. How's the LA shows going? That's why you're.
They've been great.
Killer?
Yeah. Last night was Riverside. Tonight and tomorrow LA, and then Sunday Long Beach. Yeah,
awesome. So many fucking gigs, dude.
So
I
many
can't
gigs.
believe how many dates that is.
it's a lot.
That's
It's a
so
lot.
gnarly. That's like.
I know.
That is a fucking serious amount of dates.
It all came from the fact that we were home for so long.
Yeah.
That like when you start getting those calls, like, do you want to do this? You're like, yes. And all of a sudden you're like saying yes to everything, and then they're like, you signed up for like 280 shows. And you're like, what?
We were just in Colorado with some folks from Bridgestone Tires who had been working from home for a while, and this was their first time like anywhere in a long time. And
Yeah.
it showed. They were really excited to be.
Oh my god! All the shows have been really fun, honestly. But when I did Vegas in July, and it was the first weekend that Vegas was open,
Oh God.
when you walked out, like, and you were like, "Good to be back," or whatever. I mean,
People lost their shit.
they lost their minds.
Yeah.
Like it was an energy you can't duplicate.
Yeah. Were they
Yeah.
the drunkest people you've ever seen?
Actually, I would guess so as that as well, but they actually weren't. They were like I think they were like, "Oh my god, we're out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like when I had my 40th birthday in December, and we rented out a small bar, and it was like 100 of my friends. It was like right before Omicron, and and I was like, I hadn't been in a crowded bar for fucking ever. I
Yeah.
mean, even when I went to your show, it was masks and blah blah blah. But like, I hadn't been in a crowded bar forever, and to be in a crowded bar that was only crowded with my friends, like I'd like never been that happy in my life.
Yeah.
it was the fucking coolest.
Yeah.
Did you get the shirt I sent you? The
Yeah,
Farrah shirt.
That's so awesome. You guys designed that?
Yeah, Hannah did. Of course,
Yeah.
Hannah did.
That's rad.
Yeah, the shirt with the cat on it. And we sold a bunch of them. We raised some money for cat charity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really cool design.
Yeah. So you really think you're going to get rid of this M2?
Yeah.
Just not driving it?
I'm not driving it, and I just feel like if I'm gonna have something in the garage, it should be something that like fills some.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like either a need or a desire.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just want to change it for something else.
Have you scheduled any press cars? Any recent ones?
They hit me up about the McLaren.
The LT Spider?
Yeah.
Yeah. You going to get it?
Well, yeah, because I'm coming back to LA. Happened to be in that period.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah.
I wonder if I got bumped for you.
I hope you did.
I think we have it the first week in April is when we got it.
I think you'll have it before me.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
Take it easy on it, okay?
Leave you some tires.
Yeah.
Spike just had the new GT3 after Johnny Lieberman, and the tires on it were embarrassed. The tires were so fucked. They were so done. Spike's like, he showed me, he's like, look at this fucking thing. What am I supposed to do with this? It's like no grip.
That's how you should give it to your friends.
Yeah, I know.
How do you like it?
GT3?
Yeah.
Objectively, it's great. You know, have you driven a 992?
Mm-mm.
So they're big. You know, they're big, and they feel for the first time I'm in and up a Porsche where I'm like, this fucking thing is big.
Really?
Yeah.
And they send out the press PDK for the press, right?
Both.
Oh, they send both out?
They have both.
Okay.
Yeah, they have both. They have touring and wing and stick and PDK. Objectively, it's great. You know what I mean? In all the ways that Porsches are great.
Yeah.
But it's no GT 4.5.
No. I know.
GT 4.5 makes as much power at the wheels as this makes at the crank. And it weighs 200 pounds less, and it's smaller.
Yeah.
It's a world of difference.
So I actually got an allocation for a touring.
Did you?
Yeah. But then they're like, you could actually just flip it.
Yeah.
And not ever take.
And yeah, you can flip your allocation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you did?
I haven't told them yet.
Something tells me they know now. No, I mean, do whatever. If you know, that's the thing about allocations right now. They're like gold.
Yeah.
I mean, people are sending me constantly on Instagram the over sticker. You know, someone sent me the other day like a fucking Maybach sedan was like 100 over.
Well, especially right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my good buddies, a car broker, so he gets hooked up on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because all he does is bring business to them.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I'm getting my wife, you know, this like just a Toyota. I don't know what it was, right? And so he hits up his regular person that he's brought like thousands of car buys to that person. And they're like, cool, 3,500 over. And he was like, what, for me? And they were like, yeah. And he was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, look, man, there's no such thing as not doing this now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's like a guy who only makes transactions for cars, and he still had to pay over.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty
if you're
crazy.
getting anything for sticker right now, especially anything enthusiast oriented, is tough.
Tough, yeah.
Yeah.
And the weights on things are just, they'll tell you, you know, this 90 days or whatever, and then
Dude, I ordered my
85 days, they're
Boxster
like,
in
90
August.
more days. You're like, wait, what?
My Boxster I ordered in August.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it the last week of February.
Yeah.
It's like 6 months.
That's a long
Like
time.
Mavericks, they stopped taking orders on because they know they won't be able to fill them by the end of the year, the orders that are already in place.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine if you were near the end, the last part of that line, you're probably really fucked and you'd be really delayed.
The backlog of Corvette Z06 orders is like thousands and thousands of orders deep.
They really did something. I just had this conversation about the transition of the perception of Corvettes, how dramatic the last few years. Because, like, you know, I think the theory pretty much holds true that the first Corvettes were just stunning, and every boy in America was like, I want a Corvette. And then they became able to buy them in like the 80s, and then you associated like these fucking dads with that car, and then the design and everything kind of fit it. You're like, I don't want that anymore. Like that, I don't want that car.
Yeah.
And then that stuck around like that kind of for like 20 years, it felt like.
Well, they always democratized, right, like what the Europeans were doing. So in the beginning, the Corvette, you go, well, yeah, they look like they're inspired by Ferraris and Maseratis of the 50s. But then in the 70s, the top-end Italian stuff moved their engines to the back. And Corvette went another 30 years because they were saying, no, a Corvette has the engine in the front, as opposed to saying, well, we should just do a democratization of what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
Finally, they've done it, and the Corvette has gotten instantly
it's hot again,
super desirable.
And also, I mean, I don't know, the first fucking 20 times I drove by one, if you just caught it out the corner of your eye, is that a Ferrari? Like,
Yeah. Still, like, if I see it in a flash, it's like, oh, McLaren? Oh,
yeah. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, we were talking about, who was the first designer to do like that, what we associate with like a sports design? Was that Enzo, or was that
like the wedge?
You know what I mean? Like the sexy sports car design where you're like, that's a sports car. Like,
well, I mean, you got to go back pretty far.
Yeah?
Like, let's see. If you went back to the 50s, Like pull up like a Maserati Birdcage. The Maserati Birdcage is really, yeah. So like the old one, yeah, that one. So this would have been the 1960 Maserati.
That's
Type
what I'm
61.
talking about. Where you're like, that doesn't look like any. Like you see that and you're like, that's a sports.
You could go back to the 50s. Jaguar XK120. That is extreme. I mean, you could even go back to like the 30s, really. Like the Bugatti Atlantic. The Bugatti Atlantic Coupe. Yeah, Jaguar XK120, that's early 50s.
Those are beautiful too.
Amazing. Amazing. And prices are all over the place. It's
really?
Like, yeah, 30 grand to 300 grand.
But same with E-types?
E-types are interesting because they are stunningly beautiful.
Beautiful.
But they made so many of them. They're not like super collectible in terms of like they won't really because there's always so many on the market.
I wonder if that's the one too, like that people rest on mod too. Do they do that? Like
people rest on mod. They don't really necessarily put modern engines in them, but there's ways to take the basic E-Type and make it a lot better. If you use some modern componentry in the old engines with like modern fuel injection and stuff like that, they don't like put an engine out of an F-Type in one. That doesn't really work. But you can make them much better. Like, but like if you went back to like Bugatti, they had Grand Prix cars in the 30s. Right, so if you went to a Bugatti or a Daimler Benz or an Alfa Romeo from the 30s, they had single seat race cars.
Those are beautiful cars
like
too.
Yeah, they're crazy.
When I did that Jay Leno show, the day before, they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna drive this Bugatti and this Aston Martin." I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Really? And then we showed up, and it was the company that makes the mini electric Bugatti. Awesome. And I was like, "No Chirons?" And they're like, "No."
There's a Chiron press car.
Is there?
Uh-huh. You got they don't like hand it to you. It's like a chaperone drive.
Oh, I bet.
Comes with a handler.
Have you done it?
Yeah.
How was it?
Pretty fucking amazing.
Is it?
I mean, yeah, you understand why they charge so much for these things.
I saw just an article on the Super Sport.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's insane. I mean, because it's
fucking crazy.
It's a 300 mile an hour car.
I mean,
and then you could drive it around like, and in traffic, it's like a Golf.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's easy.
That car and driver post you see of the speedometer.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody in it, and you're like. It goes like you're counting at like at 2 seconds you're at past 60, and then it goes 100, 130, 150, 100, 200, 200, and you're like, oh my god!
Like legal speeds are the speedometer. It's like this. It's like a round speedometer, but legal speeds are like here.
Unreal, man.
Yeah, no, shit is way too fast now. Like,
so isn't there like I don't know if we talked about this before, but so you go back to like when we were in high school or something, and those Ferraris and Porsche turbos, they're like, this thing is 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. You're like, what? Right? And then you move now to especially get into electric, and they're talking about sub 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So aren't we going to reach a point where we're just going to be like, hey, this is a Scud missile. Like this is going to go through a building.
Well, there's, a Tesla Plaid, and I certainly have my issues with Tesla, but they are fast enough where if you show up to some drag strips in America with this bone stock Tesla Plaid, you can't run it because it doesn't have a cage. Because if you're running a 9-second quarter mile, the car needs a cage, and this doesn't have one. So they're just selling this shit to people.
Yeah,
yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I mean, some of these, I just think like there's got to be some future accidents that are going to be like.
Oh, they're happening now.
Otherworldly.
People are fucking sending Teslas into buildings.
That's
and
what I'm
shit.
saying.
Yeah. It's happening now. It's happening now.
And like when you think about like qualifications to drive things, which you should have, right, at a certain level. I mean, there's going to be a point where I feel like 20 years from now, maybe less, like there will be no such thing as something slower than 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, right? And
sure,
it's going to be like that'll be just the standard.
Like the new. I don't know if we'll get to that level of it because fuel economy.
Sure.
It requires an enormous amount of energy to make something go that quickly.
Right.
Like, sure, a Tesla is an aerodynamic thing, and if you set the cruise control at 57 miles an hour and go down the highway, it'll go 300 miles, right?
Yeah.
But if you smash the throttle and unleash 1,000 electric horsepower, the range is like 6 miles. You
Yeah.
know, you can do 20 quarter-mile pulls, and it's
then
like,
it's over.
say you've gone 6 miles, you drain
Yeah.
no battery. So the energy comes from somewhere. So if you're going to make something that is truly fuel efficient, it can't be that fast, right?
True.
So it's not everything is going to be 3, but like right now, like we were just on the last show, someone was asking about the acceleration of a Honda Civic Sport. The Honda Civic Sport will accelerate to 60 about as fast as my Ferrari 328.
Really?
Yeah.
It was like 9 seconds.
Yeah,
so pretty slow.
It's like not fast.
Well, what do you think? But don't you think are we gonna reach a level though? Like since we're already sub 2 on these things.
Yeah.
Like, are they just gonna be like, all right, it's 1 second. We did this. I'm like, are we
Well,
gonna go,
Eventually,
tires.
you know, you're just teleported. Eventually,
Yeah.
it's just 0.
no, what you do is you press this button and then you're just there. Like, what?
You get beamed somewhere.
Yeah.
But we also, if we really do have a eventual 100% transition to EVs, then everything, you know, the slowest thing you could buy will be 6 seconds to 60, which is what a Ferrari 512 Boxer did, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
There's also other stuff like those cars, those supercars from back in the day, a lot of them had these like dogleg gearboxes and really, really long 4 or 5 speed gearboxes that those shift times really affected the.
For sure.
So the 0 to 60 isn't necessarily the best indicator of the performance. They really focused on highway performance.
Yeah.
You know, the 0 to 60 of my Countach is not that good because there's this long gears and a
Yeah.
dogleg shift, but it'll go 188 miles an hour.
Have you taken it up there?
Fuck no. I've probably did 125, maybe 130 once in it.
Yeah.
It was pretty stable. It was okay, but you need some room.
Does it
Yeah.
pull? Yeah, does it pull from 80 to
It pulls,
120?
but it's
or-
it's a 5-speed with pretty long legs. So you know it's not. It probably feels as fast as like a C7 Corvette or something. It still feels
That's pretty
pretty
fast.
quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but it's not like a new. Dude, fucking phone off, Tom.
Jesus Christ! Come on, man.
Are they telling you got to get the fuck out of here? Go make money again?
No.
Is that how this works?
No, we're good.
Time is money, bro.
What do you get excited? What are you excited about right now? Anything?
Fixing my M3 is going to be exciting.
Okay.
I'm excited for that. It's up at Mark's place.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, getting some surgery done.
Yeah.
So he's the guy for sure.
He's great, man.
Yeah, he just knows things, and he was helpful on the phone.
guy
To
in
do
the
this,
lab.
saves you some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a king BMW nerd around
Yeah.
here.
And what else?
I don't know what's coming out this year that I'm excited about. I'm excited for like approachable horsepower. I think I like the stuff that's the fact that nowadays you can get a car with around 300 horsepower for like $28,000.
Crazy.
You know, like the 86s or the Mustang GTs and stuff. That stuff still excites me because I feel like they're figuring out how to balance the vehicles more. The fact that cars like the Mustang and everything else handle really well. So now those cars that used to have like good straight line speed but handling was okay, there's so much attention being put on steering feedback and suspension and all this other stuff that we have more comprehensive sports cars than I think we used to.
You should try to get the 86 or the Subaru BRZ as a press car.
Really?
Yeah, because for $30,000, it goes shockingly quick, and it's really nice to use and has really good inputs. It's a
What
lot
is
of
it?
fun.
The Subaru?
The 86, the little coupe, the little 2-seat. It used to be called, or the Subaru BRZ. These things.
Oh.
It's as close as you can get to a Cayman for a third of the price.
Wow.
It's like 3,000 pounds, maybe under 3,000 pounds, 225 horsepower. No, 200.
More now.
More now. With 200 and,
Is it 282?
is it 280? That's 228. Right? 228. I want to say it's 228. But like fun to, like grip level, very high, good brakes. 228. Yeah. Great little power to weight, really engaging. I think to balance out your list of supercar stuff, and you'd be impressed.
Really?
Like what's good about cars now is that stuff like this is approachable
Yes.
and available and performs pretty well.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the fun of a Miata, but with more space. I feel like it's a much more usable car.
What about the big? What's your favorite like big comfy, like sedan? You know,
I mean, Mercedes is really they still
The
just
S-Class?
make the fucking
Yeah.
It's still dope.
Those are still shit.
It's
The
still
shit,
dope.
yeah.
But once you start fucking with EVs
yeah.
in the luxury space, all the
Dude, the Lucid.
Oh, the
Did
Lucid
not
is
have air
really cool.
suspension. It rode so well.
The
neighbor.
Lucid's
Yeah.
cool. Has a Lucid?
Yeah.
Have you been in it yet?
No.
It's real cool.
He got one of those, the limited, like the
Founders Edition
whatever,
joints.
yeah.
Yeah. It's 1,100 horsepower. It runs a 9-second quarter mile, and it rides like an S-Class. It's pretty amazing stuff. Once the EV space will take over luxury. Rolls-Royce has an EV coming out. I mean,
Oh my
that's
God.
going to be the tits.
Then as these, every year, let's say, as these come out and more people do them,
Yeah.
does that battery get better with every kind of
So
evolution?
interestingly, we're kind of at this weird place where the batteries are pretty good.
They weigh a ton, right?
They weigh a ton. The voltage systems get better. Like a Tesla is a certain amount of voltage that I want to say it's 400. The Porsche Taycan and the Audi are 800 volts. And so what that means is electricity can flow in and out faster. They charge faster and they can discharge faster, meaning accelerate faster.
Yeah.
The Lucid is 900 volts. So these things are getting better. But we're kind of at the point of the okay, magic needs to happen now.
Yeah.
For us to make battery packs that can either charge in 20 minutes from dead or are weigh half as much or whatever. And we are not there yet.
Yeah.
We're still using batteries that are fundamentally racks of laptop computer batteries.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it what's the best range on one? Is there anyone that
The
has,
Lucid.
that has the best range?
The
520,
Lucid
I
range is
think.
520
Get
miles.
the long range setup.
Yeah. The Lucid long range one is the most efficient per kilowatt. It's more efficient than a Tesla Model S long range, and it has the physically biggest battery.
I still feel like with the EV stuff that I know logically I'm going to be in them and own one and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I still haven't I still don't have the strong desire,
That's fine.
Have you driven them much or spent time in them much?
I mean, I've driven a number of Teslas, Taycan, a couple of them, I mean, I enjoyed them, but I never got out and I need to get one of these.
Okay.
It didn't really happen for me until I started. I sat in a traffic jam in one from Riverside to Venice, and I was way less tired
Really?
because it doesn't vibrate and there's no gear changes and stuff like that.
And you drove? Or
I
did
drove.
You, okay.
I drove, but I was on radar cruise control, and it was
Yeah.
just as smooth gets. And then I was like,
Were you in the Ford?
I have the Ford now, but this might have been a Tesla or something.
Okay.
But it was as a traffic car.
Yeah.
That's where it changed my mind, was as a traffic
Yeah.
car.
I mean, everybody, rightfully so, people rave about them. I just haven't had that itch where
Sure.
you're I want this,
Well, look, you don't have to. You don't need a daily driver. You don't need that car.
Right.
You get to have cars be your special thing when you get home from
Right.
being driven around in Sprinter vans on the road and shit.
Right.
Yeah. So resist the urge to get it if you can.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. We've been hanging out with Reggie Watts. Do you know
Yeah.
Reggie?
Yeah, of course.
He's the fucking coolest
Man.
And he loves his Taycan as the LA car, and then he's got his 911S for the weekends. Makes sense.
Oh, by the way, only time I've ever seen somebody get a standing ovation on a 10-minute set
Was Reggie?
It was wild. I mean, he deserved it too. You're just like, what is happening right now?
That was at a comedy club.
It was at a comedy show. It wasn't a club. It was more like one alternative venue, some type of modified rock club thing. And it was years ago, but I just remember, I knew who he was, and he comes up and he does his thing, which looping sounds and singing and making a song out of nothing.
Yeah.
And then he did 10 minutes, and everybody gave him a standing ovation. I was like, I've never seen someone get a standing ovation in a 10-minute set.
That's wild.
Yeah.
When you see him do that shit,
It's great every time.
It's insane.
It's every time,
and it's completely on the fly.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
it's like a real Andy Kaufman thing, where he's really fucking with your head.
Yeah.
But I like watching Reggie. That's the difference I found between the two of them. I wasn't that into Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
No,
Reggie's
I'm not.
thing is so
Andy
impressive.
Kaufman's
I know what you're
really
saying.
awkward.
It's absurdist and strange.
Yeah.
But Reggie's composing a song, playing all the instruments, making the lyrics, sometimes it's like a joke, like a full story joke. And he's doing the whole thing with like a couple of keystrokes. I mean, it's just, it's so impressive.
It's
you
so
can't
impressive.
not stand up and clap.
Yeah, you can't help but like stay watching it too.
Yeah.
You're just like, I have to keep watching this.
This is a human.
Yeah.
And I didn't know we humans could do this, but one can. Yeah.
That's why when people, in comedy sometimes people are like, who's like amazing or like, a genius. And I'm like, well, in stand-up, I'm like, I mean, people throw those words around. I'm like, it's just going to be subjective who you find to be like really makes you laugh and stuff. But to get to like those superlatives about somebody, I think you have to step out of, like, I don't see a stand-up that makes me react that way. Like you almost have to leave stand-up and go like, look at what Reggie's doing, and that's when you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
like this is totally different.
It's totally different, and like that's where I guess I just don't describe comics that way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been comics where I'm just like, holy, like when you first saw like a Carlin special or something like that, and you go, okay, well, this dude is on some other
high level shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I saw like the way that Jerry Seinfeld put a set together, I thought it was like, word for word precise, but
super
still
meticulous.
It's still like it's comedy as opposed to like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
That doesn't happen in stand up, I don't think.
Yeah. Oh man. How did you feel about Bob Saget?
I worked with him one weekend years ago. I mean, we're talking like maybe 04, something like that. I did a weekend with him, and he was super nice and super generous as like obviously the headlining guy, and I'm the MC of those shows at the Improv somewhere. I mean, I'm just like super shocked by it.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's very sad. I didn't have like a close relationship with him, but I know, now you hear 65 and you're like 65, and
that used to be old, and now that's kind of young.
For sure, for someone who's like seemingly in good health.
Yeah. But apparently his father and uncle and brother like everyone in his family had a heart attack really young.
Oh,
and like everybody.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
I know. He it was in one of the articles. Like
it's a really good.
He was pushing his luck.
It's a reminder, like, and you get them all the time, but to do regular checkups, because that's how you discover these things.
Yeah.
And so many people, especially guys, are like, I'm fine. Or like, I work out.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you don't know what's going on in like your arteries, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been drinking a lot of orange juice lately, a lot of vitamin C.
So I feel good, man.
Yeah, I feel good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like I was hanging out with my friend last week. He came on the bus for the run, and he's fine now. He's but he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, where they were like, this is the end of the road. And he wasn't getting checkups or anything. He just had like shortness of breath. I don't feel good. He goes in. His wife convinced him on the way home to stop at the ER. He's like, I don't want it. She's like, just go. And they take X-rays. They're like, you're not leaving. And they found tumors all over.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he is like a
And
miracle.
he recovered?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like a miracle patient to them. But he could have discovered that much earlier if he would just do any type of regular checkup.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bob.
Good for your friend.
Yeah, I know. Bob.
Scary
It
stuff.
makes me. It makes me sad that that happened. Obviously.
That my friend Carl Rees, the chef.
Yeah.
He if he had gone to the fucking doctor.
Yeah, once. Sure.
Yeah, ever. Like.
Right.
He would have.
They would have done like a coronary scan and been like, oh, you have major blockage.
Here's some pills. Like,
Yeah.
or
Let's
or
do a stent
Here's
or
the
something.
thing. But too fucking late.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Very sad.
I watched but speaking of I watched Kamal Bell's. We need to talk about Cosby.
I haven't seen it.
It's really well made. He's very, very good assembler of documentary footage, and it's very conflicting. It's tough. Yes, because he talks about all the good shit he's doing too.
Yeah.
and all the people he helped, and all the people he inspired, and all the revolutionary stuff he did with his stand up, and for black people and all that kind of stuff. But then it's like just stacks and stacks and stacks. So one person at the end was like, Bill Cosby was exceptional at his craft, whether that was acting, or stand-up, or raping. You're like, whoa.
It's quite a statement.
The delivery was The delivery was really exceptional.
I mean, the one thing that like whenever anyone talks about it as a conspiracy, because that always happens with everything, you're like, do you think that like 58 women got together over in the United States and were like calling each other like, let's take him down? Like, it's just so absurd.
No, it's crazy. That many people, it's like.
Yeah.
And what's worse is when it's that many people, it's probably twice that many.
Oh yeah, because there's people who are like, I'm out. I don't
yeah,
wanna do
because the
this.
people who came forward didn't really turn out so good for most of them.
It's wild that he got out too. I mean,
really
it's just
crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, and they do talk about why that happened. That was a legal party foul, as you would call it.
Yeah.
It was someone described that as good law that benefited a bad person. Actually, it was one of those things where if it was you, and if you made a deal with a prosecutor that this wouldn't, and then they went back on it, you'd be like, this is fucked up. It just happens that it's a fucking terrible person.
Terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But really good comic.
Yeah.
But
Good
the
sitcom,
it turns out the sitcom was good.
Yeah.
Can you separate the comedy from the comedian?
I mean, I guess I'm getting into like the weeds on what you mean by like I can acknowledge his skill set,
right?
And like he is a master stand-up comedian, an absolute master and fantastic. Could I like enjoy it anymore? I think that's pretty I don't know, pretty hard to do. Yeah, I don't think I could. I mean, I haven't consumed any of his stand-up in a long time,
right?
I'll
throw one out there. Like, I can't watch Louis.
Really?
I can't watch Louis C.K. anymore. No.
For real?
No, I can't.
No shit.
Because to me, his shtick was, aren't we all thinking about this disgusting stuff? And thank God it's just thoughts. And then you're like, well, for you, it's not just thoughts.
Wow.
So I can't do it. I'm out on it, which is too bad because at the time I thought his work was genius.
His latest special I saw is so good.
Really?
It is like it's one of the best specials I've seen in a long time. It also like reminded me of the first few specials that really launched him into stardom.
Yeah.
It's that good. It's really good. But yeah, I mean, everyone has, I was trying to think like I saw somebody goes like, I deleted my R. Kelly catalog, and I was like, oh, I could see that. Like he's a fucking demon.
Yeah.
Person. Like he
imprisoning people.
Yeah. Like keeping them locked up and brainwashing them. And then you go, yeah, but step in the name of that. Like you're like, yeah, all right.
I mean, it's like embedded in our brain,
but
it hooked us at the right time.
Yeah.
But so many of his songs are, romantic in nature, so that makes it even worse. He's not just like singing songs about cars.
He's like romantic, but like either slightly or very crude. So it's in the world of what his,
Yeah, he's like, what's top of mind right now?
Yeah.
What do I want to write a song about? Yeah.
And there's stories about him. There's that Chicago Sun-Times guy that did like the greatest like expose on him, and he was like, he's a filthy man. Like he doesn't like to bathe, so he'll like go like a week without bathing, and all these details.
That actually, I mean, obviously that makes it really way worse. But like, it's really
I know, just like little details where he like really colors like the whole picture, and you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
what cars are you excited about, Tom? What was your first car?
Who makes the best Sprinter van?
Mercedes. My very first car. So I first drove my sister's '95 Accord, and I remember I drove that like at 16 years old with a couple buddies, and I turning onto this Florida dirt road, and they're like, punch it. So I punch it, fishtail into a ditch.
Nice.
And
Gators.
Full panic attack. Only thinking about my father. Like, he is going to fucking kill me. And they're like, calm down. I'm like, no. Like, I was just so nervous.
Was it Bert? Because he's so optimistic.
It was that era's Bert. And I remember that I was like so panicking. I was like, we cannot I don't want to call the authorities because then he's going to find out. It's going to be just a nightmare. I should point out that I was leaving a driver's ed class.
Oh, perfect.
So it was like,
was it a watery ditch too, or just a ditch?
No, it was maybe a little bit of water, but the main thing was that like I was, head like face down like this, and I could not get out of it.
Yeah.
The only good thing, one of the good things about being in any Florida town is there's plenty of rednecks and pickup trucks.
Yeah.
And literally,
someone's got a tow strap.
Oh, like second one that came by, we're like, "Can you pull us out of the truck?" He's like, "Yeah." Like pulled us out.
Third one this week.
Yeah.
And what I remember was that when he finally got me out, I'm like, "Oh, like I'm saved," and like he's not going to find out. It's sitting there, and then the bumpers goes doof, like that, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And it's just half hanging off.
Front bumper? Just
Front bumper. So I reach under, and it had been drugged, so it's like kind of scratched up, and you can latch it. Like I could find like a latch for this hole to like hook on where it's supposed to be, but then like after a few miles it would fall off. So my main thing was just like set it up, take it home.
Wait for someone else to drive it.
So I took it home. It's parked. It looks totally fine. And then a few days later, it falls off. And my dad's like, "What happened here?" I'm like, "I don't know. What did happen here?" And he's like, "Huh." He was like, "Take that over to Honda, see if they'll fix it." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think that's weird, man." So I got out of that one.
Like, there's a fish back here.
Yeah. There's all this grass and evidence.
Then I had a '96 Mustang like base model.
There you go. The V6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next year, he got himself the V8, a black V8, which I was like, "This is what a V8's like." Like the difference was like it was like trying to run track in dress shoes with the V6, you know. And then I was like, "This is fucking unbelievable, man."
Guy at a dealership tried to sell me a V6 as a V8. He was like, "No, this is the V8." I was like, "No, it's fucking not, bro. It has one exhaust." I literally had to open the hood and count spark plugs.
And he was like, "Oh."
He was like, "No, oh yeah, sorry, like my bad."
The best, you know what my dad did
Ford
too?
salesman. What are you
We
doing?
drove by this Ford dealership that his friend owned, and there was a black Cobra at the time there. He's like, "How about I get you that?" This is when I'm like 15. I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Would that be something?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we would drive by it. He's like,
Wouldn't that
"Yeah."
be something?
And he's like, "You want that Cobra?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah." And then he showed up. He goes, "Here's your car." I'm like,
This is.
"What happened to Cobra?" He's
Did he
like,
then he must have got a job at that Ford dealership.
I mean-
tried to sell a car to me fucking later.
Jesus.
Was he getting back at you for something? Like,
No,
had
I don't.
you-
He's like, he was just like such a space cadet about things. He was just like, he'd be like, I'd be like, "What about the Cobra?" He's like, "Oh yeah,
What about
I got you this one." I'm like, "They're different." Like, I'm cool if you want to swap them
He
still.
just straight up forgot that he
Yeah.
said that. Wow.
He'd forget everything, man. He's one of those guys, like that era of guy just kept it all in his head.
Yeah.
Like every meeting, he'd be like, I'm like, "Do you remember that I called you about this?" He's like, I think I forgot." I'm like, "Jesus, you forgot about everything, dude."
That's funny.
And he had secretaries. I'm like, "Just tell them." Like, fucking-
Tell them to get the Cobra.
yeah.
The speed of pre-internet thought.
Yeah.
No more connected devices. It was written on a fucking notebook somewhere, shoved away.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you really, 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 really bank it out hard. When you really fucking when you get incredibly mind-numbingly rich a year from now, what are you gonna fucking really blow some cash on?
Car wise?
Yeah.
I think there's always this thing of like, for me, I think with Ferraris, like that you just can't really shake, where you're like, that's like the mountaintop in a way. And I've test driven them. I almost got one a few years ago. And I was
Didn't you almost get a 488 or something?
yeah,
kind
this
of.
black 48 Spider, and then I bought a house instead. But like one of those things where I'm like, and I don't know, it's just in your head that like, yeah, I'll get one, but I don't know. They have such like a wide lineup of things. I don't know if that's that different than any other time, but I just feel like I'm always looking at what they have.
Yeah.
And I always feel like it's, I don't know, something for like down the line.
What are your top 3 Ferraris? Of any, you could be current, old, whatever. Like if you're going to buy 3.
Well, I would say I don't have that thing for like the LaFerrari that like when people are like, this is like I mean, I understand the appeal of it, but it's not like I'm as drawn to that, I mean, the first one that I drove where I was like, this is unbelievable, was I drove the 488 Spider, and I just went on a test drive and I was like, this is crazy, because like the way it handled, and I just wasn't expecting it, because I had driven the what was it, the F12?
Yeah, front engine one.
I didn't like it.
No?
I just felt like I didn't like how long the nose was.
Yeah.
And
I take personal offense to that, by the way.
You do?
Well, because, look at my face.
So I just felt like I think I had the expectation of what it would be.
Yeah.
And I got in there and it was so different. And not in a great way that I was like, I don't want one of these. And it's weird to go to dream about something, material thing, and you're like, this is what I want. And then you get it and you're like, oh, that's not what I want, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was like a shift in that way. And then I drove the Pista, and that was even better. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, they're rowdy.
And I drove the F8.
Kind of the same as the 488.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's I think something in that family would for sure be one. I haven't driven one. I got told, when people are like, you don't want that. But I still find the appeal of I love the way the Roma looks. And I think I want to drive one. I haven't driven one.
They drive great. They do.
Yeah.
They drive really nice. And they don't have quite the schnoz that the F12 has.
Yeah.
But they have these touch buttons, like not real buttons, like haptic buttons. They're fucking infuriating.
Really?
Yeah, they're really infuriating.
Same as the SF90 interior, actually, which is strange.
Have you driven that?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, it's crazy, crazy fast, of course.
Yeah.
It didn't hook me the way, because like you, I think I fell in love with Ferrari probably from movies and whatnot when I was a kid, and I want many of them, and I love many of them.
I mean, one of those old GTOs or something.
That's
yeah. Those
that would be a really, like what you said, if you're extraordinarily wealthy.
Yeah.
Because I think you look at that and you go, I think this is why I fell in love with cars.
Yeah. For me, it's like F40.
Yeah.
Or F50. That's
360. I love that car.
360 is very cool.
I mean, and they sound good and they go well. Yeah.
Well, I think we were up Angeles Crest when somebody came just mobbing down one of those with like a 360 with
the Challenge Stradale one.
Yeah.
It was great. They're lovely.
Yeah.
Very nice. And by Ferrari standards, reasonably affordable.
Yeah.
But have you driven like a gated manual transmission? No. See, you should try one of those. They're not as fast, obviously, but they're incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, that'd be fun maybe to start with one of those.
Yeah. And they are, as of right now, they're all appreciating assets.
It's pretty crazy.
You could buy it, and if after a year you go, well, it's not for me, I want something faster or whatever, you can probably make money on it.
It's insane.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
What do you think, like in the 360s? Or
360, 430 manuals, 360 manuals are great. And they're not like crazy fast, but they're fucking fast, but they're not as a Pista or anything like that. But you still feel like you're going, and they make the right sounds, and they feel.
You ever drove the 458 Speciale? How was that?
Great.
Really?
Great. Yeah.
That'd be a cool one.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the 458 is like they've gotten kind of faster since then, but they haven't really gotten much better. The difference between a 458 and a Pista is incredibly incremental on the road.
Yeah.
It's faster around a track because it's got these turbos and it's got horsepower, but it doesn't sound better. It's pretty much the same platform.
Did the 458 have mag ride?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you still have the comfy ride, but better sound, way better sound.
Yeah, sounds really good. They sound fucking good. And we just had to go in that Maserati MC20. That's the shit.
I watched your video.
Fucking great car.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Fucking cool, man.
Yeah. They're very cool, and they're going to be tough to get for a while.
Yeah.
But they've done a very nice job.
It's nice to see some of the manufacturers that you weren't really talking about come out with stuff that you're like, hey, this is pretty rad, man. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what Aston Martin does the next couple of years because they've got this guy from AMG now. So they might.
What's that unique, that like super exotic they're making?
Oh, the Valkyrie?
Yeah.
It's a Formula One car,
Yeah.
basically, with like bodywork on it. Yeah, there's going to be a few of these things coming out. The AMG Project One.
Yep, another one.
Which a friend of mine has had an order in for 3 years or something. Yeah.
I mean, this thing.
Yeah, look at the Valkyrie is insane. I mean, it's pretty much a Formula One engine that runs on pump gas. It's pretty much, it's really, really crazy.
I would get one of these.
Right?
Yeah.
It's practical. Roll up to the Comedy Store and that.
Yeah. Here, do my set. What do I get paid for the set?
Yeah, right.
They're like, not enough for this thing.
Yeah, right.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's super, super crazy, the Valkyrie.
Those are probably all spoken for too, right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wonder how hard they laugh when you're like, "Can I get one of these?"
I think according to my friend who has the AMG Project One, which is it looks basically like that, the Mercedes one. It was, I think it was a $600,000 deposit.
Yeah. We gotta do a couple more shows.
That's a lot and you get another car. You get a special. You get access to a special AMG GT Black Series with some special fucking livery.
Wait.
No, you buy it also.
Oh, also.
But you have to have the deposit to buy it.
Fuck.
Yeah, like remember when Porsche came out with the 918 Spider? They had the 911 Turbo 918 Spider Edition that you could get.
They're like, buy that.
It was the most expensive option ever offered on a car, another car. And you know what the take rate was on it?
What?
100%. 100% take rate.
It's amazing. It's amazing. This whole business of like get in line, though, I get it. It still makes me go.
Well, that one was get in line because they realized they could raise a bunch of money now, and they felt like with a big enough deposit, people wouldn't bail. You know,
Sure.
like what happened back in the day with the Jaguar XJ220, which was a supercar that Jaguar did in the 90s. They got a bunch of interest. They said, "Here's what the car is going to be." They got a bunch of deposits, and then they had to change it. They went from a V12 to a twin turbo V6.
Yeah,
and they called it the XJ220, but it only hit 217 in testing. It wouldn't actually go 220, and a bunch of people bailed. Like so many people bailed out. So I think they've got the deposit number high enough where people aren't going to bail.
It's this whole. I mean, with watches too. You know, people like how many have you previously purchased? Like, what?
Yeah,
you have to do that.
Yeah,
we
need to know that you've given us 10 times this much money in the past in order to give us,
and then we'll consider you.
It's so weird.
It's
really weird. It's like they're judging how you are as a parent or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and Ferrari does that. You know, Ferrari's big on like you can't just walk in here. I'm like, okay,
you think you can just buy this?
Yeah,
this thing we have for sale.
What else have you bought from us? Like,
yeah. Thanks for coming in, dude.
Of course.
I appreciate your time.
I always have fun with you,
super
man.
busy.
Yeah.
Go to Tom Segura's website, buy tickets to whatever shows are remaining on the I'm Coming Everywhere tour. There's a lot of sold out labels on that.
And there's a pre-order for my book right there. If you want
really? What's your book?
It's
I'd like to play alone, please.
Yeah, it's essays and stories, and comes out in June. But
what made you want to write a book? Pandemic?
The pandemic.
Really?
I mean, I'd thought about it before, and then I had written just a few pages, and I submitted it to this publisher, and they made an offer, and then I underwent the overwhelming task of writing a book that I had no idea how much work would go into. It's a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's like writing 10 term papers, and then you hand it in, you're like, here it is, and they're like, just redo all these, and you're like, no. But it took a lot, but I'm really glad I did it. And
is it the kind of thing you want to do again, or is it the kind of thing you're glad you're done with at this point?
I mean, I'm glad I'm done with it, and I would do it again. But it's funny because we had our first day pre-order that went really well, and I got a call from my book agent. He's like, "You ready to do another one?" I go, "Get the fuck out of here!" And he's like, "All right, I'll give you some time off, but then we'll do another one."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it again, but I need to get through this tour first."
Is this just stories from your life kind of thing?
Yeah. It's not like a memoir, but it's like a chapter on my dad, on my mom, on the time I overdosed, on the just like all these randoms about being a road comic, how podcasting took off, like just random stories and essays, and then like all these celebrity encounters on flights. So I have like so many like times where I've sat next to like superstars.
Yeah.
And I have like those like interstitials throughout the book.
Oh, cool. That sounds fun. I will definitely read that.
Thanks.
And I've really been enjoying your Tom Talks. I know it's been inconsistent, but I really liked the one with the subtle art of not giving a fuck guy.
Mark Manson.
Yes.
Great guy.
I thought that was a really interesting chat.
Yeah.
And after you told me about the Kevin O'Leary story with the watches, I went and listened to that. We listened to it in the car on the way back. Yeah. When he said, "What's your favorite watch?"
The Nautilus.
The Nautilus. He was like, "You will never get one of."
He goes, "Let me tell you something. Your chances of getting that watch are 0."
That was so brutal.
I was like, "What?" He goes, yeah, you'll never have that watch. I was like, okay.
He said it with glee, but also he's just delivering a fact.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like
he
kind of
was.
happy about it.
No, it makes him really happy to be a dick, that guy.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
relishes in it.
I'm like, do you have one? He's like, I have 7.
Yeah. He was on, I saw he's hawking some fucking caviar on Instagram that he's an investor in.
Yeah.
And he lifts up his hand to take a bite of the caviar, and he's wearing a $500,000 FP Journe dressed as a chef with a toque eating caviar.
His watch collection is
It's
really
off the
nuts.
chain.
Yeah.
And I fucking rolled the shit out of my eyes when he started talking about NFT watches. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Fucking garbage. I don't want an NFT.
But he's
watch.
in early, so the company will launch and he'll make money.
He'll extract value from rubes.
Yeah.
Go buy the real watches. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Tom. We
Of
appreciate
course.
your time.
Thank you.
For the live people, we'll be back at 3:00 with Johnny Lieberman. For those not live, we'll be back later this week with Johnny Lieberman.
Put some tires on that thing, Johnny.
Yeah,